Aloha, Hujambo, and welcome back, language learners, to Adventures in Language. I'm your guide, Emily. Now let me guess. You're here because you're not yet where you want to be with your target language. Maybe past tense verbs remain just outside of your grasp, or you can't remember the word for tomorrow no matter how hard you try. I hear you, and I know your struggle. It can be really frustrating. But the good news is if you're here, you're already on your way to success because you're actively seeking out advice to help you reach your goals. So give yourself a pat on the back because go you. Now, in this video, I'll be walking you through a guided self-reflection of the following 3 questions. First, are you clear on your motivation for learning the language? 2, are you carving out enough time? And 3, are you using the right learning strategies? Keep watching because in this video, we're going to help you say saYOOnara to your fluency frustrations. And for those of you who might not know me yet, I'm Emily. I'm a linguist at Mango. I have my PhD in bilingual language processing, and I'm a teacher and a student of many languages. Sans plus tarde, let's get to it. Okay, question number 1. Are you clear on your motivation for learning the language? If you aren't clear on your why, you probably won't get to the how. Now, there are many possible reasons, motivations for learning a language. Perhaps it's for school, for travel, to communicate with a particular person or group, or to feel connected to your heritage. Or maybe it's for career advancement, to expand your worldview, or because you simply enjoy the process of getting to learn a language. Whatever it is for you, you need to be able to define your why. Why? Because as it turns out, clarity and motivation is tied to positive learning outcomes for the target language. And if you'd like a worksheet to guide you in pinpointing your primary motivators, then check out the awesome goal-setting worksheet that we made for you, which we've linked in the description of this video down below. It's free. Okay, question number 2. Are you carving out enough time for your language learning? This one may seem simple, but it actually requires some careful reflection. So answer me this. What do you consider an ideal number of hours to be spending a week learning and using your target language? Say the number out loud right now. Don't overthink it. Now, that number matters because it's subconsciously been driving your expectations about what the, quote, ideal language learner would do. Okay, now let me ask you this. On average, how many hours a week have you actually been able to spend using and practicing your target language? Think back to just the last week or 2. And go ahead, say it out loud. I'll wait. I have nowhere to be. I just live here in this YouTube video. More often than not, the 2 numbers you provided are different. Now, the truth is there doesn't exist a perfect or magic number for how many hours you need to spend a week to get fluent. The number that's going to work for you ultimately depends on a number of factors, such as your proficiency timeline goals, your learning style, the intricacies of your personal schedule, and the relative difficulty level of the target language. With that being said, there is some helpful guidance that I can provide here. So first, if you're finding that you aren't spending enough time with the language, consider protecting that time by putting it on your calendar, and also use digital notification reminders to keep yourself accountable. Also, try out options that don't require formal study sessions. Things like configuring your phone settings to be in the target language, or listening to songs in the background while you're doing your chores, or heck, watching YouTube videos with or without the subtitles. You may also consider leveraging the little pockets of time that crop up throughout your day. For example, if your schedule right now doesn't really allow for you to have, say, 2 hours of uninterrupted study time, then sneak in mini study sessions while your coffee's brewing, while you're waiting in line at the store, or in between reps at the gym. The truth is, despite what we used to think about the learning process, short little spurts of studying can actually be really powerful for learning. We've been taught to think that in order to learn something the right way, you need to be sitting at a desk, focusing without interruptions for several hours straight. But recent findings from cognitive science, which are really reassuring, suggest that interrupted learning, also referred to as incubation, can actually help boost your recall of the learning content. Long story short, if you think that this strategy would better fit into your day-to-day schedule than blocked off hours on a calendar, then use it, because it just might be your ticket to proficiency. And if you'd like to reflect more on how to set realistic goals for your language learning time, I invite you to check out our Setting Good Goals video, or use the Mango app. The app offers an autoplay feature, which allows you to learn free from the restrictions of having to look at your screen. In other words, you could fit in your learning session while you're waiting for the bus or while you're out for an afternoon walk. Pretty cool, right? And before we get to the last one, if you're new here and you'd like to make sure you're up to date on all of the awesome language learning content that we have for you, then join the Mango fam by subscribing to the channel. Okay, number 3. Are you using the right learning strategies? 9 times out of 10, when people tell me that they're not making progress in the target language, the main reason is that they're relying too heavily on passive learning strategies as opposed to active learning strategies. So passive strategies include things like skimming a textbook or rereading example sentences. They're easy and they make us feel good. In fact, a lot of popular language learning apps out there rely too heavily on passive learning strategies alone. The problem is that they can give you the illusion that you're learning a language when, in fact, all you might be doing is matching pictures to words, which isn't how actual conversations go down. In contrast, the Mango app offers tons of speaking activities that encourage active learning for you. Now, what exactly are active learning strategies? Well, they're tasks like writing your own sentences or having a spontaneous conversation with a friend. Generally, active learning strategies require more cognitive effort than passive ones. They're more difficult, which means we tend to make more mistakes when we do them. However, active learning strategies give us much more bang for our buck. Here's one active learning strategy that I highly recommend you try on your own. I call it playing teacher. Now, after learning a new grammatical concept in the target language, you're going to play teacher by pretending that you're tutoring a beginner student in the target language. So you're going to explain the concept to this imaginary student, and you're going to explain it from start to finish, and you're going to include examples along the way. Active strategies like playing teacher will help you reinforce what it is you know and what it is you don't, which at the end of the day is how real progress is really made. For more ways to incorporate active learning strategies into your language learning practice, check out the video that we've linked for you in the description. Now that we've gone through the 3 questions, which were about your motivation, carving out the time, and the kinds of study strategies that you use, I want you to ask yourself this. Which one of those do you think is truly at the heart of your hang-up with the language? Or maybe is it a little bit of everything? Regardless, what are you going to do about it? You may not have answers to all of these questions, and that's okay, but you should now have a better understanding of what it is you need to reflect on and have some ideas for how to overcome your fluency frustrations. And just a friendly suggestion, tackle just one of these points at a time. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, neither was Disneyland. You'll get there. Oh, and last thing. You decided to watch this video because you're frustrated with your current fluency level, right? And hey, I don't know your life. Maybe you have every reason to be. Maybe you haven't been making the progress that you want to make. But it's also possible that you've made more progress than you realize or give yourself credit for. When it comes to language learning, it is not uncommon to experience a disparity between perceived competence and actual competence. So I invite you here at the end of this video to think back to what you couldn't do in the language just a few months ago or when you first started learning that you can do now. And what has been your biggest win so far? Something that made you feel really successful and accomplished in the language. Don't take those things for granted. Enjoy the progress that you've made so far because that taste of success will help propel you forward. Well, now that you've finished the video, I hope you feel inspired to take these ideas to really reignite your language learning journey. If you liked the video, go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend. We appreciate you. And as always, if you have a question or an idea for a video that you'd like to see from us, let us know in the comments. We're always listening. Aloha, heri, and I look forward to seeing you back here next time. Bye. Hey friends, it's me again. Don't forget to get your free Setting Good Goals worksheet, which you can access through the link on this screen. In next week's video, I'm going to dive into 6 of the most common reasons that language learners experience what we call an intermediate plateau, followed by helpful tips for how you can address each one. Well, adventure on, my friends. Bye.